Are You There is the story of a gamer who travels the world playing computer games at a professional level. And basically he is living in a world where he knows the rules very much. The world of the game. He's absolutely in control and he's the hero in that world. And what the film is about is how he breaks out of that bubble and lands in the real world while he's in Taiwan. We wanted to make a film that would portray basically the first worldwide generation of people around 20 years old now that have grown up with a very virtual existence next to their normal existence. So we wanted to make something about virtuality, and that's why we chose a gamer who is somebody, you know, which is a whole new a whole new job, a whole new career that many people still don't even know anything about. Because this kind of person would be the archetypical person who is in virtuality a lot. Exactly. It's, I mean, what we really wanted to do with this film is make the emotional connection in what happens in platforms like Second Life, and so it's not about the technicality of gaming. Actually, the film is not about, it's just the background that he's gaming, but the actual film is about the voyage of having contact in a virtual way with somebody who he meets on Second Life. So I started to spend a lot of time in Second Life, and I started to explore the world of Second Life, which I found extremely intriguing, and at the same time I was doing a lot of interviews with gamers, and I found out that they were much more sportsmen than they are nerds. So that was an interesting discovery, and I basically based the whole beginning act of the film on that, on just this guy who is basically an athlete, a sportsman, but in an electronic way. Well, the difficulty in handling a subject like this is that the people who you're making the film about, the gamers, are people that are very much stuck into one world, one universe which they can control, and they limit their life to that. So these are not outgoing people. They are not people that immediately that the audience can immediately relate to. So you're dealing with a very introverted character, and the big challenge was to make that visually interesting, and to make that and to make something happen in Second Life which actually made the story very human and made it very easy to, or not very easy to, but which made it possible for an audience to connect to what these characters are going through. In Second Life, basically, I think the Asian part of Second Life is much more advanced than the Western one. There's many shops in Second Life where you can model your avatar, which are all written in Japanese and in Chinese. That's why when we were making the characters in Second Life, we actually met somebody who lived in Asia. I think she lived in Japan. We never got to meet her. We never knew what her real identity was. But we asked her to make the avatar of the girl. And she basically went to Japanese shops and to buy a little hat and a little cat on the shoulder, and this whole style was made by her. Well, we actually never really met her in real life, which is interesting because that's why actually the process of making the film is also very much a product of the digital community itself. Yes, there are definitely differences. I mean, the Chinese players are, I find, are most dedicated and most hardworking, and really have an attitude of. I mean, they have teams there where they have to go to bed at a certain time, and they have to really stick together, and so it's much more like the rest of like we see generally in the difference between Chinese society or Western society, is that it's more. It's less individualistic and more team-spirited. it's absolutely the greatest honor that I've ever had in my life to present my film in the Certain Regard. It's great on so many different levels. I can hardly talk about it all. It's very good for the film. It means hopefully the film will be sold to some more countries. It makes the publicity that I have with the film much greater. And for me personally, it's going to be easier for me to make my next film, and it's just a huge breakthrough. And so far, the response that we got here to the film has been very warm and very good. And, we had a beautiful premiere with a very excited audience, so it's just it's been amazing. Yes, I'm working on something right now. Yeah, I'm starting to write a new script. It's about a soldier that returns home and that can't really, in Europe, who comes home to Europe and cannot really adapt to the routine of society anymore. And he starts looking for a new mission, and he starts to get into the anti-global warming thing, and he actually, and also he starts to become a free fighter. So he wants to. He's looking also for physicality, what this film is also a little bit about. And there's a lot of fighting in it, and which doesn't mean it's an action film, but in a very close and physical way. And at the end, he tries to become a terrorist, for environmental terrorist.